welcome to this special interview edition with the International Missions Director of the Church of Pentecost in the person of Apostle Emmanuel Gyasi-Addo. Certainly you are watching Pente. It's all about Jesus. Special because we are looking into perspectively the activities of home and urban missions so far and what can be done as a way forward. Papa, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been a while anyway. I'm sure everybody is good. Right.
By God's grace, everybody is doing well.
Great.
Yes.
Now, just a quick observation and overview of since the inception of Home and Urban Mission, when Chairman Apostle Eric Yamiche and the entire executive, including you as an International Mission Director, brought or birthed the Home and Urban Missions from the Vision 2023, and a lot of activities have gone on. Probably it is a nice time to gauge your observations of what you've seen so far on the activities of the Home and Urban Mission.
Okay, thank you very much. My observations are quite positive from what we have seen. You see, it's one thing having a vision, and it's another thing entrusting the vision to people that can actually run with the vision, because vision usually starts with one person and then it goes and goes on and on and on, and then it expands. And I'm very grateful to God that the vision coming from the chairman and the executive council did not just remain at the level of the executive council or even at the level of the heads, but more importantly, the fact that we were able to choose people who are cut out for the work that we entrusted to them, people who had the aptitude, the passion, and what it takes to run with the vision. That is one thing I thank God for. Yeah, because it's not written in the face of everyone that, or anyone that, well, you will be able to do this. But by the leading of the Spirit of God, you know, the Executive Council is able to identify people, the right people to run with the vision. I think this is, when it comes to the home and urban missions, it is one area that I am very, very impressed. One, about choosing the right people, and also how they have been able to run with the vision. And so far, hearing reports from the coordinator, the national coordinator, Pastor Kwafo, and his team, I'm impressed. And I want to thank God for that.
So by and large, you are happy for how the Home and Urban Mission has been structured?
Very happy.
And the way the leaders have been able to implement
Yes.
the program to the letter. We are grateful. I'm sure we are less than a year old anyway, so we thank God for greater heights. Now the next point we want to understand is how, probably if you want to draw the line, is there any line between the Home and Urban Missions and that of the International Missions activity, or they are in conjunction?
Okay, they are complementary. The international missions work, like missions work, deals with all the things we do to bring people to Christ. Yes. When we talk about mission is God's mission. That's the work of salvation. And then all the things that as a church we put in place to enable us to reach or to execute God's mission is what we call in global terms missions. Yeah, and so that includes preaching the gospel, that includes building places of worship and places of residences, that includes social interventions, you know, and all that. And then it also includes targeting specific people. Because even though the gospel says God so loved the world, but in the world, when you read Acts 17, the Bible talks about God placing people at specific locations. And so we must be shrewd enough and sharp enough to be able to adopt or to be strategic in our approach to missions. And so Home and Urban Missions has come as a response to that, to supply that need, a need to reach specific groups. Like, when you talk about the home missions, we are talking about specific language groups, or specific ethnic group, or specific nationalities in a particular location, who are not of the land, of the original land, who are not indigenous, as we say. And so much as we have done a lot of work among the indigenous people, and we have also, over the years, been paying some attention here and there to these other precious people amongst us. This is a time that we are specifically targeting these people with specific and special interventions to reach them. And so we would not say that it is different from what International Missions is doing. They work, yeah, it's complementary. One complements the other. So that's what I would say.
So the area I want us to look at is what is the nature of the implementation of the HAMS policy regarding the external branches? Because first of all, in Ghana, we have the national coordinator. So I'm sure in terms of implementing the policies, it could be easier. When it comes to the external branches where you oversee, how practicable are these nations implementing the home and urban missions policies?
Yeah, the nations have also done similarly as we have done in Ghana by charging ministers to pay attention to the vision. And some have even gone ahead and appointed coordinators, as we have done in Ghana. There are also some who have even gone out of the way to come out with special incentives, to districts and ministers who will spend time going after, going after these target groups to reach them. There are special financial interventions for them, so that because it is capital intensive. These are not people who will readily come, especially when it comes to the urban missions. These are not people who will readily come with money or ready-made resources. You have to invest in them, and so they realize that if you left it with the local assembly or the district themselves alone, it might be difficult. And so the nation as a whole some of the nations have made specific interventions to help our ministers in the districts to reach out to these people. And so,
when you talk about the nation, are you referring to the church unit as representing the nations?
No, I'm talking the church in the nations. The church in the nations, and not the nation as the political leaders or the. Yes.
Now that reminds me of what you just said, that the activities of home and urban missions is highly capital intensive, and so we also know that the Church of Pentecost is non-profit. So basically, we raise our internal resources to build it. How, because of this special, peculiar need of this ministry, how is funding going to work out like? What kind of involvement financially would the church put in trying to make sure that people who are enrolled in through home and urban missions are well taken care of?
Yeah, I think that when you roll out a vision, you take all these things into consideration. And so in Ghana, for example, I'm sure that the head office, when you check the head office budget, you realize that home and urban missions as a unit has been taken care of in the church's vision. In the same way, when you go to our nations, every nation is also expected to do likewise. As I said, we, even as international missions, according to the vision document, we are supposed to support the headquarters administration to fund some of these activities. in the Vision 2023. And so it is a collective thing. And the headquarters, the missions, and the nations, we are all, because this is something that's very, very important to us. And so we are all helping. It's not like leaving the leadership of the Home and Urban Missions to go soliciting for funds here and there. No, it is a vision of the church, and we are all together budgeting for it, putting an aspect of our budget aside for this intervention. So that is what we are doing.
Great. Now, for every vision, there should be some implementers. And here in Ghana, we have certain structures that the Church of Plenty works with. And I'm sure the leadership of HAM is not different. That's applying through the area, the streets, up to the very low. Are you expecting, as an international mission director, these implementers, for that matter, these stakeholders, to hold on to this vision in making sure that, first of all, the target is reached?
There's a saying that I say people will do what you inspect and not necessarily what you expect. So it means that if you have entrusted something to somebody or some people, you have to hold them to account. They have to account to you. And so it is one way that you make sure that the people who are supposed to run with the vision do so, because they know that at the end of the day, you are going to ask of them to account for what you have entrusted to them. So that is one. But I think that it is also very important that the people themselves are self-motivated to be able to hold on to the vision and run with it, as we say. They should be self-motivated. And that is why I started by saying that I'm grateful to God that in Ghana, the Ghana example, for example, the leaders that we chose have shown commitment, they have shown passion, and I must even say that for me personally, even though the vision has been discussed at length at the executive level, at the health level, but since they began running with the vision, they have opened my mind to other, more to other dimensions of the vision. Right. So that the vision, they have expanded. You see, and that is why I'm saying that having the vision is one thing, but getting the right people to execute it is also another. We have to encourage our people, not just in Ghana, but all over the world, in Africa, in Asia, in North America, in all the other continents, to be able to motivate themselves that this is a work that has not just been entrusted to them by church leadership, but the command comes from the Lord Jesus Christ himself. And as Christians and as servants of God, we have no excuse than to motivate ourselves that if it is doing the Lord's bidding, and harm is one of it, then we have to do it. And then also knowing that at the end of the day, we will have to give account to those who appointed us.
So that's why let me be specific. So how dear is this harm project to you? And then that of the leadership. And
okay.
What premium specifically are you placing on the activities of harm for its success across board?
Everything I've said should indicate to you that it's very dear to us, very, very dear to us. For it to even come, as I said from the beginning, we have been hinting at these things, not today, for a long time now, that we have to reach. I remember even some time ago, during the witness movement, there were some interventions that came that we should, reach out to Rasta people, this and that, And so these are things that we have been doing here and there, but for the first time, it has appeared in a national vision, and the international vision. With a coordinated effort, spearheaded by the chairman himself and all of us who are in leadership. And so that should tell you that it is very dear to all of us in leadership. And so we will make sure that it succeeds. When leadership is not just sitting back and just looking on for people to do, okay, we have given it to you, so do it for us to see. That's not the posture of leadership. Leadership is very, very involved. And he will tell you that he has access to the chairman for the purpose of this vision. Yeah, that's a plus. That's a plus. And I always say that the International Missions Board is maybe the only board, I don't know if we have added one, but hitherto has been the only board that the chairman himself, the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, chairs. And it tells you the importance that the church attaches to missions. So that the chairman himself is there helping to shape and lead decision making, and then the International Missions Director is there and then and is charged to implement, to see to the implementation of policy and the vision. You see, at the very high level. And so, yeah, that should tell you that it is very, very dear to the heart of the leadership.
Now, to the leadership of the HAM, if you like, ministry or project, you seem to be well pleased so far what you've done. But then, what's your expectation going into the future? And let me ask this before we have that one. Is HAM project going to be a tenure, or probably it has come to stay in the church's activity?
I expect that it will last for as long as the Growth Commission should be carried out. That's what I expect.
Probably that question should have been asked to the chairman. Since you are one of the bosses.
Yes. Yes. So it is not something that must have a tenure. The people who are running with it can have tenure. Like all of us, whatever you do, I mean, you have your tenure.
But the project must go on.
The project, the concept, the idea, the vision must go on. Yeah.
The expectation of the HAM leadership.
Yeah, the expectation. That is what we expect them.
What do you expect them?
All right. I think that
They have received, they have earned your praise.
yes, they have. But it is said that the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. And so they should challenge themselves to do more. As I said, even those of us who entrusted it to them, they should go beyond our expectation. And I'm sure that they are capable of doing that. They should do more education, more sensitization and awareness creation amongst the church public, even in the nation, whenever they get the opportunity. Just like any form of evangelism, theirs is also a specialized area. And I expect that they will use all other means, electronic and otherwise, to propagate this gospel of reaching the HAM people. And so, yes, they have started well. I said they have started well, but we expect that they will do better as they go on, because this is still in its embryonic stage. And if they have been able to do what they have done at this level, then I expect that going forward, they will do much, much better to the glory of God.
Probably, maybe this is the last question. What challenge do you envisage, and how are you expecting them to surmount probably the session?
Yeah. Challenge, like all human institutions and especially church activities, as I said, the person himself, the person who is running with it, if he is not self-motivated, if he doesn't have the passion, but so far they have proven, they have demonstrated they have the passion. Now, the other thing is getting the people, that is the stakeholders, the main stakeholders being the leadership of the church at every level, and then the church public themselves to embrace the idea. Because if the church public does not embrace the idea, it will be more difficult. It will be more difficult. But if they embrace the idea, as they have embraced the idea of evangelism, the idea of missions, and when the missions say Choboy, everybody is saying yay, Makio Missions Week, monthly our missions offering, the whole public is behind us
They respond with
because,
alacrity.
because they understand the vision and what we are doing.
Right.
The same way evangelism, we haven't gotten where we want. We have not gotten to where we want to reach, but we have come a long way, you know. But the whole church public is helping, and so in the same way, this is an idea that is relatively new, relatively, as compared to the others and the vim with which we are doing it in a coordinated sense now. And so it behoves on them to make it more attractive. Because members of the church, leaders of the church, we have more than one thing to attend to at any given time. And it is the way you market your department that will draw the attention. And so I want to challenge them to make it attractive to all of us, including those of us who gave them the job, the chairman, the GS, the executive, the IMD, the executive council, and our apostles and prophets, and all in leadership. I want them to even to win us, to continue to woo us and to win us over, to support the vision more than.
Very innovative program.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so that's what I want.
So, finally, any word of encouragement, word of advice, first of all, to the soul winning business, particularly this newborn home and urban missions, and then to our ministers, and then the church public, because this is a business of God. I want it to hold. So, any word of encouragement to all of us?
Yeah, to all of us, I would say that the Bible says that the king's business requires haste. And as you said, this is God's business. And if it is God's business and he has given us that business to do, I always say that I am amazed at how God, who is able to do everything, will bring us in to support him in doing his business. You see, the man is so powerful, so resourceful, and yet he says that it means that he has put that limitation upon himself. You see, nobody put that limitation. Nobody can limit him. He has put that limitation upon him that, all right, this is what I want to do, but I want to bring you in. I want to bring human beings that I have prepared to help in this work. The angels were prepared to do. And when you read Acts 10, a whole angel came from heaven to tell Cornelius, I want you to hear the gospel. But in a way, he was saying that I am not qualified to preach the gospel to you. Go and look for Peter. So, all the way, Cornelius has to go looking for Peter, or he sent people to go looking for Peter in Joppa, somewhere. It's amazing. So just Jesus saves angel. You can't say, but it has not been given him to do that. So you see how privileged we are that God has entrusted the preaching of the gospel to us. And I always say that maybe one of the reasons is that angels do not have the experience that we have. If you have been a drunkard before, and you have fallen into the gutter,
Somebody came,
pick you up,
then you understand.
You have an experience. The angel has not had that experience.
Yeah, that's correct.
You see?
That's deep.
Yeah. The experiences we have, they don't have it. And so we can preach the gospel better with understanding. We can appreciate better what Jesus has done for us by bringing us salvation.
So we are privileged to be part of God's business.
Absolutely. And so we should do it and do it well, with passion, with zeal. And I believe that, and it is also amazing that God has promised to reward us. It comes to reward. We should have done it with that reward, even happily, joyfully, because he has saved us. That in itself is a reward. But he has also promised that he will reward us. Soul winners have a reward. And so if soul winners have a reward, then Ham has a reward. We are targeting expatriates. We are targeting the marginalized of society and all that. It's a big work. And I pray that we will get our loins and support the leadership or the coordinating committee of HAM to do what God has entrusted them to do.
Apostle, thank you so much for talking to us.
It's my pleasure.
It's been great talking to the International Missions Director, Apostle Emmanuel Gyasi-Addo. We heard him certainly. Ham business is everybody's business, and for that, God has promised us a reward on top of it, as we heard Apostle say. So let's continue to rally around and build every project that the church brings out, which has the intention of winning souls for God. And that's a mandate that all of us must endeavor to.
Possessing the nations all over the world, the Lord will be our strength. We are possessing the nations all over the world.